was brought to you did it nice and slowly. Thanks. Anywho, I stole this from the online textbook. Your
so
textbook.
We can look up the answers.
Sure, possibly.
Nice.
Anywho, I didn't realize because I just copied and pasted. It doesn't say what F equals. So it's kind of hard to write the conclusion part. So we're just going to skip it. And I'm going to talk about Molly because Molly's going to watch this video. And she asked me to make an example with her in it. And I didn't know what to do. And then she told me, by the way, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. And I was like, well, in that case, I'm just going to write a couple sentences with her name in it. So that her name's in the notes. Because she was like, you put other kids' names in the notes before in the year. Can you do one with me in there? And then she was like, but I won't be there. And I'm like, whatever.
Where's my name? Where's my name's never been in there?
Yeah.
What is this?
Oh,
My name's
there you're on the
Laura.
notes.
Is Mr. Little's reading favorites right now? Oh.
Hey.
That's not even how you're spelling it.
This one's the hardest one.
Can I be on there?
This one has my name in it.
We're on the notes.
Can I be on this?
We're not printed on the notes though.
Tyler. Didn't I use Amelia earlier?
Yeah, you did.
I feel like I used you on a test. You probably had the wrong one. Zach,
Yeah.
There we go.
Calvin, Noah,
Yeah, it should have been the plus. Oh, that's it.
Hannah,
Maybe Emilio.
Oh, you remember?
Squared,
Yeah. Oh, you can't. We can ostracize.
Anna. Oh no, my pen.
Hannah squared.
Hannah, you're up there.
Hannah, Hannah, and Hannah, and Anna, and Cheyenne. Look at all those rhymes. I did use Maddie,
No.
Haley,
Problem.
Shelly,
Those are all the names for the problem.
Don't forget Jillian.
Jillian.
I think it's still pretty clear.
Oh, I forgot Sam.
Oh.
Sam.
Our names are first. Our names are first. You're right. Does that make us more special? I think so. We get special.
Am I
Yeah, you guys
forgetting
can
anybody?
That one's like, everyone else's name is on there. It's not special.
Am I forgetting anybody?
That's funny.
Eric?
Hey, no hate though. That's
That project was a nightmare.
Michelle.
That was not even in this
Michelle,
class.
my belle. Huh. Huh.
Who got it?
I don't know. I purposely didn't write Hayden.
Oh, I.
Wow.
It's messed up.
It was. I did put Zach there. Now you have all been on a note sheet.
Whoa.
What about Carter?
Calvin.
Yeah. What about Carter? Carter's still technically on the roster. Isn't
I know. Why? Why? I signed the drop sheet. The counselor never dropped him.
he?
Right?
He has been drawn.
So does he get marked absent every day?
Yeah.
And typically, does that mean he fails each quarter?
I just don't put a grade because I agreed to the drop. It was the counselor who didn't follow through. Anywho,
Stupid counselor.
we're looking at the hummingbird flower example again.
Oh.
The biggest thing, I'm sorry, did I miss you? Biggest thing is I want you to know how to read an ANOVA output. So remember I showed you the output for linear regression and how to find the slope and the y-intercept and all that jazz. Well, here's a mini tab output for ANOVA. So I'm not going to reread this, still the hummingbird flower example. I want you to give the test statistic, degrees of freedom, p-value for the ANOVA F test, and then based on that information, what would your conclusion be? So test statistic, that's F. And if you look over here, there is a column labeled F. So there's our test statistic. F equals 259.12. Degrees of freedom. We have numerator degrees of freedom and denominator degrees of freedom. I can't remember. I think it was Molly. Hey, look at that. I'm mentioning her again. When I showed you guys how to do the ANOVA test in the calculator last class, she was like, why does your calculator say error? And remember I said that's what they call the denominator, is the error. In the big, long, really complicated formula, you're looking at the error of error meaning variance, how far away you are from the mean of all the groups. Anyways, my point was degrees of freedom for the denominator, you're going to look for the word error. So DF, we have degrees of freedom, and then notice there's one that says error, so that would be the degrees of freedom in the denominator, which would be 51. The one above it, that has pretty much the category name. We're looking at the variety of the flowers. That's the degrees of freedom for the numerator. Now, before I identify the p-value, well, actually, you know what? The p-value is just right there. Just right there. It's right here. P-value. It's the last thing under p. So our p-value, excuse me, is 0. Now, if for some reason you didn't know the p-value, but you knew the F statistic and the degrees of freedom, your calculator has a function called FCDF that would allow you to find your p-value. So I'm going to show that to you. It's called FCDF. Kind of like normal CDF, binom CDF, geomet CDF. So it'll tell us the area under the curve. When you use FCDF, it's going to ask for your lower bound, which is going to be F. An F distribution is like chi-squared. You're only ever shading above your test statistic. So lower bound is what your F value is. The upper bound is just going to be a big number, which we use 1E99. And then it's going to have the degrees of freedom, and of course my brain is forgetting whether it's numerator and then denominator. I'm pretty sure it is, but it is. Okay, thank you. Degrees of freedom numerator, comma, degrees of freedom denominator. Dang it, I ran into my other question. So we're going to use that really quick, and we're going to see it's still 0. So calculator, we're gonna hit second vars. And you're gonna scroll down to 0 FCDF. Now the newer calculators obviously are going to prompt you lower, which our F is 259.12. The upper, we're just going to use 1E99 for a big number. Degrees of freedom in the numerator was 2. Degrees of freedom in the denominator is 51. In the older ones, you would just put commas in between all that information so that it looks like this. And then we hit enter and we get that number followed by e to the negative 27. So we have 26 zeros after the decimal, which really is a p-value of 0, right? I'm just going to write the actual values down to 59.12, 1E99 to 51, and we get that 1.92 times 10 to the negative 27, which really is 0. So, based on that information, what would we conclude? Are the mean lengths of the flower varieties the same? No. So, we would just make some little conclusion. Mean, I didn't want to use that. I wanted to write the word, sorry. Mean flower length is not the same for each variety. Not the same. Or am I off the screen? Okay, good. Thank you. Now, did anybody notice anything cool about the ANOVA output? No? That's okay. Let's see, I'm gonna put it in a bright color. Here, notice, sorry. They have individual confidence intervals for each of the flower varieties. So we have, oh man, how do I say it, Nate?
Which one?
The BIHAI. I know how to say red and yellow. Come on.
It's just really high.
B-high?
Yep.
Alright, so notice we have the B-high confidence interval. And then we have the red confidence interval. And we have our yellow confidence interval. So what information do the confidence intervals show us that when we did the ANOVA test, we didn't know? Which flower seems to have the highest mean length? The first one, the B-high, the B one, yeah. So from the confidence intervals, and I'm going to abbreviate confidence intervals as CIs, we can see that the B-high flower has a higher mean length, has the highest, we'll go with that, the highest mean length. Yellow has the lowest mean length. And you can see, oops, their actual means right here. So B high has a mean length of almost 48, red is about 40, and yellow is 36. Questions? No? Can I flip? So you guys have a lot of information. This is about cereals. So in the middle, I'm going to read the paragraph. Yes, Reese's. It says, many favorite kids' cereals, think Fruit Loops and Trix, contain lots of sugar. Why did you laugh at that? They do contain lots of sugar. Do supermarkets deliberately place these brands on specific shelves so that kids can see them? To find out, researchers went to the cereal aisle in a large supermarket. They took separate random samples of cereal brands from the top shelf, middle shelf, and bottom shelf. The size of each sample was proportional to the number of brands on the shelf. For each brand, the sugar content, grams per serving, was recorded. The table below shows the data. Well, I moved the table up here, and I made it small. If you really squint, you could read them. Here's the summary statistics. So the top, sample size, the mean, standard deviation, same for middle and bottom. But what I wanted you to focus on was the ANOVA output. I did have you state the hypotheses, so I did add one part, because that'll help you when you make your conclusion, since we haven't looked at this example before. So state the appropriate hypotheses, H null, HA. From the ANOVA output, give me the test statistic, degrees of freedom, p-value, the conclusion you would draw, and I did put a little note, let's assume all conditions for inference are met. And then over here, tell me what additional information you get from the confidence intervals and the output, please. Wanted to see it, you could. No. Did I write a full-on conclusion? No.
I was like, that's a lot of.
Did I say what? Yeah. Yeah. for some reason that's not there. You can use the information to find it. See that whiteboard thing now, it's got 3 attached to it. I just realized the hole punch went through where it says error and shell.
You can tell.
I'm glad. I didn't realize that until right now. That was a very badly placed hole punch. Sorry. Here, do that hypothesis. You're gonna do that part for me? Just put that in. Blue and orange. Sorry. No, you're fine. All right, Maddie's gonna start us off with the hypothesis. Yeah, sorry. Will you do that first? And I can't speak. Probably
I thought that we had a good.
I wonder, usually, I don't know if they release the Form B ever. Thank you. All right, Anna's gonna do this part for us.
No, we really did. Even the second one?
I don't know.
No, we
Find out that.
Yo, Hannah, Zach carried
What?
You guys are
Zach,
really
you
good.
carried.
Very what?
The Hicks.
What are we hearing?
Our days.
Really?
Oh.
It was so good. Your house.
Bro, the clips looks good. I was scared. I was gonna fall.
That was really cool.
Wait,
There's no way
It
they
was
won.
rigged.
Because they had really
They,
good props.
they rigged it. They rigged it.
I feel like out of all, yeah, but the,
They announced it way too
Okay.
What do props have to do with anything?
They kind of.
It's about lip syncing,
No, that's technically it's when the category is props.
but it's really.
And outfits. There's not many outfit changes.
Yeah, they only had like
And
Did
one
you
top.
watch it?
Yeah,
I was waving
I
it.
bet you didn't know I could do that, huh?
no,
You did.
I didn't.
He did like
What? Today,
You did a flip.
What? I have one question about the seniors dance, but I'm gonna wait till I'm not recording
Is it?
to ask.
Caleb?
About who?
Caleb?
Who's Caleb?
Oh, the guy who's
Who was
umbrella.
one.
Were you there for the night performance?
No.
Oh.
That
What happened at the night performance?
Nothing. I'll show you.
I didn't even know that happened until I saw the video. You'll have to see the video.
He messed up?
That's Coach B. Miss Berry got so mad at him.
What do you do? Show me that. Oh my god.
All right, Amelia's gonna do the last part for us.
Is that why he was asking you forgot his following?
Oh yeah.
Such a better
My mom was like, I was waiting for time when I thought it was you. It's like, I have fun watching. I kind of like the tracks.
Bro, he's
Oh my
like.
gosh, yeah.
It was so good.
All the
Oh my
girls.
God.
It's not fair. I never remember.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, questions. No questions.
What is that?
Alrighty then.